first thing that we need to do when making these cinnamon rolls is to add 3 tablespoons of melted vegan butter into 1 cup of almond milk. You want to mix this and put it in the microwave or heat it on top of the stove to about 110 degrees. You don't want it too hot because then it's going to kill the yeast. It should be warm but not hot to the touch. When this is heated, you want to place it into a large mixing bowl. And then add 1 pack of activated yeast. You want to set this aside for 10 minutes to let the yeast activate. This is how you know that the yeast is activated, is whenever it's all bubbly. Once it's activated after the 10 minutes, you want to add 1 tablespoon of sugar and then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mix this well. Next, you want to add the flour. This is 3 cups of flour, but you only want to add 1/2 cup into the wet mixture at a time. Make sure you sift each time. You may not use all of the flour, and that's okay. When the mixing bowl is clean, you want to put your dough back in the mixing bowl and knead it for a few minutes. If you knead on the counter, at any point in time that you put the dough on the counter, it's important to make sure that your counter is clean and you didn't use any chemicals on the counter because you don't want chemicals in your food, obviously. So clean your counter down completely with something like vinegar and let the vinegar evaporate off the counter before you place any food, dough, fruit, or anything else on your counter. Alright, and then we got our dough. We're going to drop it in your mixing bowl. Cover said mixing bowl, put it aside in like a warm area for about an hour to let the dough rise. It should be about double its size whenever it's done. When the dough is doubled in size, you want to clean off your countertop using vinegar, not an all-purpose cleaner. And make sure that the vinegar has evaporated or you've wiped it off completely. And then you want to just lightly powder your lightly powder the counter with a little bit of flour. I don't have a rolling pin, but I do have wine bottles, and they work just as well. You want to roll it out to a thin rectangle. Add flour as needed. You don't want your stuff to stick to the counter. It is unfortunate. Trust me. Alright, now that we got our nice, flat, rectangular surface here, you want to add 3 tablespoons of melted butter to the top. I have one of these little silicone brushers. They come in handy when you're doing this. Just evenly spread it around like this. This is about a 1/4 cup of sugar. Just want to sprinkle this on the top. And then for the cinnamon, you can use between a 1/2 tablespoon to a tablespoon of cinnamon. I'm just gonna eye it. Sprinkle it all over. These are cinnamon rolls, so don't be scared of the cinnamon. Awesome. Now that we got everything on there, we want to gently roll from this side to this side. They don't need to look perfect right now because you're going to re-rise them and pop them in the oven. So their shape right now won't matter too much. So you want to be really gentle. Then you want to get an 8x8 little baking dish. Get a knife. You want to cut this into 10 rolls. I'm going to butter my knife to avoid sticking. And then you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. While it's heating, you want to put this on top of the oven, and then they will re-rise. So after these are done baking for 25 to 30 minutes, you want to let them cool for a few minutes, and then you want to put your icing on while they're still warm. I'm using a cream cheese frosting, a vegan cream cheese frosting. You just want to put it on the top and just let it drip down. And then you have vegan cinnamon rolls.